Okay, so I wanted to make a quick and dirty little video here in order to kind of help out with some questions here where we're matching graphs to the equations. And because I thought, it kind of be interesting and, enlightening as we work through these and you can kind of work through it yourself too. Okay, so here's what I've got here. Like, let's say imagine that I've got one of these graphs where I kind of move things around. And the question is like, what should I be looking at in order to kind of help me understand, which of the functions it is? So what I'm going to look at here is I'm going to notice I've got, if I kind of move this into this direction, okay? If I look here, okay, what you'll notice, this is actually the XY axis. And on the XY axis, when we have the XY axis, remember the XY axis is actually going to give me level curves. Okay, level curves. And so look at the level curves here on this surface. They're circles. So the level curves of the surface end up being circles. Well, which one of these functions is actually going to end up being a circle, right, if we actually set z equal to some constant? So if I set z equal to some constant, that x squared plus y squared equals z, that's it. Okay, so this one happens to be a, because when I set z equal to some constant, whatever it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, I end up with level curves, x squared plus y squared equals z, okay? And then when I actually kind of turn this way, okay, you can kind of see, there it is. That's kind of what it looks like. It makes sense. We've got these circles, okay, and the circles get smaller as we move upward, okay, towards, let's see, going from basically 0 to 1. And so that's kind of like a cool way to think about that. I was like, oh, okay, those are circles. I hope you all can see the circles there. Let's actually take a look at the second one. Let's look at B. And B, once again, here's our XY axis. I'm going to pull this so that X is on the bottom so that we see what we see normally. So there's XY, okay? Here's our XY axis. And what you can see here is that we've got lines. So in this case, our level curves, right, okay, are lines, all right? And so if I look here, I'm going to look at this and I'm going to say, oh, okay, well, if I set z equal to a particular value, okay, which one is going to actually give me a line, all right? And if you kind of think about an x minus y squared, I know it's got the x squared minus 2xy plus y squared, but if you actually set z equal to a constant, what you'd get is this constant, we take the square root of it, and then we get x minus y equals a constant. And if you think about it, x minus y equals a constant, okay, is going to end up giving us actually a set of lines, okay? It'll end up being negative y equals x minus the square, or negative x, or actually, like, it'll give me y plus the square root of the constant equals x, and so x minus the square root of the constant equals y, and so hence our level curves are going to look like that. And so this one ends up being B. Okay? Take a look at the second one. The third one, let's kind of get into that XY axis. That XY axis out there. Okay. We got XY axis. Now I'm looking at a set of level curves. Okay? And they're a little bit different. They kind of look like parabolas, if I kind of look at them. They look like parabolas, okay? And so that's a little tricky. We've got, say, for example, our group, it goes from 0 to negative 3, 0 to 3, on our x's and y axes, okay? And, but if I turn this around, okay, and now I look at, for example, there's my xz axis. Okay, so there's xz. So let's think, what if I have now, those are clearly parabolas. Okay, those are clearly parabolas. You can kind of see that we've got the vertical traces now on that xz axis are there. And so if I hold, what I want to do is I want to hold my y constant, make my y constant, and then we get z equals x squared plus y, right? Okay, and that's what we got there. We got a set of parabolas there. And so this is C. Okay, so what I did there was I said, okay, well, I looked at my level curves. My level curves didn't give me as much information as I wanted to, but my level traces gave me more. Now, by the way, you can kind of see that if I did look at the level curves, these are somewhat parabolic. You can see the parabola here, okay? Parabola's going through here. And so consequently, you can kind of tell or kind of differentiate when we see that we are looking at, like I said, kind of like parabolas. And if you actually set z equal to a constant, you're going to get a parabola there as well, okay? And in fact, you are going to get a parabola of the form, x squared minus some number equals y, okay? All right, so I wanted to actually just demonstrate how it is that I went about doing that. I actually moved them around so that I'm looking at level curves, or I'm looking at vertical traces, and then that actually helped me to show how it is, or to show the, to figure out which one of the graphs I'm looking at.